Mr. Kurz said he hoped he and Mrs. Merkel would be able to change the EU positively together, but highlighted their strong differences of opinion on key issues, including proposed finance reforms. Mr. Kurz told reporters, "We talked about how it makes sense to rely more strongly on the principle of subsidiarity in the EU, and to work together more strongly when it comes to big questions, like international security and defense policy, where we need to deepen cooperation. But at the same time I also believe it is right for the EU to scale back when it comes to questions that member states or regions can decide for themselves. Also to make sure that regulations don't increase steadily." The Austrian Chancellor, who came into power in December 2017, admitted earlier today his skepticism about Eurozone reforms. In her initial Grand Coalition agreement with the left-wing SPD, Mrs. Merkel vowed to support changes including an investment budget for the euro as well as turning the ESM bailout mechanism into a European monetary fund under parliamentary control. But Mr. Kurz said, "I'm much more skeptical about certain considerations regarding the Eurozone, such as the possible Eurozone budget." Along with her SPD prospective coalition partners, Mrs. Merkel has also vowed that the next German government will be more than happy to increase its contribution to the European budget. Their initial coalition agreement read, "We want to strengthen the EU financially, to allow it to better exercise its tasks." Of Angela Merkel and Sebastian Kurz disagree on key EU policy areas. However, Mr. Kurz today expressed concerns that net payers into the EU budget, such as Austria and Germany, could end up putting too much into common coffers for too little return. He said it would be easy to say if the budget gets tighter, the net payers have to pay more. With Great Britain, an important net payer is leaving, but so are a large number of citizens, and in my opinion this means a change on the European level is necessary. It is necessary to become more economical, and if the question is asked how much more can net payers pay, I think it would be more important to ask where we can be more economical and efficient. Getty. Schulz and Merkel met in Berlin for the first joint summit. Schulz and Merkel met in Berlin for the first joint summit. Austria will also take on the presidency of the EU Council in the second half of 2018. A move which Mr. Kurz said he hoped would mean a bigger contribution to change in the bloc. He has vowed his government will take a pro-European stance on international issues, but is skeptical of the direction the EU has taken, and of its apparent federalist objectives. It is likely he could clash strongly with both Mrs. Merkel and French President Emmanuel Macron over the course of his term. Additional reporting by Monica Pallenberg.